Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here, and today we're going to look at some chin-up variations which Marvin Eder suggested for developing a super wide and thick back, as shown in these amazing photos of Marvin Eder at his absolute prime in the silver era. This guy was an absolute beast and natural, making him an absolute genetic phenomenon. His back was so thick and he developed some thickness from being able to perform hundreds of chins in different variations, which I will discuss today. What an exceptional human being and real athlete Marvin was in his heyday. Look at that back. It's wide, it's just studded, it's the erector spinae running down the middle of his back. His traps and the erector spinae just really highlight the strength that this guy had in his back. It's amazing. Marvin Eder, who at the time was training with none other than Reg Park, recalls performing every single kind of chin-up variation possible to work the back at all angles. Here are Marvin's own words in regards to mastering the chin-up and its variations. Quote, "Because chinning influences the upper back muscles from a different angle and permits a wide range of unusual contractions and pulls, sections of the upper back muscle develop a degree of power and muscularity far superior to that obtainable through weights alone." Marvin, along with other old school bodybuilders, recommended training the arms to build up their strength prior to chinning. Marvin believed that the advantage of chinning versus performing the lat pull down, which is okay for beginners, is that the entire shoulder girdle is also worked, which carries over to other lifts like the overhead press and bench press. The stretch is brilliant and pulls the shoulders wider apart, allowing more space for massive musculature to be developed. When we look at these images of Marvin Eder, it is hard to argue with his words. On top of that, once weighted chin-ups are performed, the spinal column gets a good, straight and direct pull. These are also Marvin's words. Therefore, it can help set the skeletal framework straight, which can help relieve nerve pressure and aid in cases of spinal curvature like scoliosis. Again, these are Marvin's words, and again, very hard to argue with him. He does make a lot of very interesting points in regards to the chin-up variations. Now, the chinning program described here is the one that Marvin describes in the particular article that I read recently. The exercises in this program include the wide grip pull-up, then performing a very wide grip pull-up, then performing vertical bar pull-ups, alternating concentration halfway pull-ups, one arm chin-ups, and then performing a vertical bar stretch. You want to be performing your body weight as resistance first in this kind of program, only performing one set of each of these exercises so that you can actually do each of them and actually do a whole different set of variations, which is the whole point of doing this kind of chinning program. After time, you can slowly add resistance in the form, for example, of iron boots or strapping some plates around your waist. Now, given the fact that we are living through a pandemic right now, I thought it was an excellent program to bring up and to share on this channel, and I do hope that you can incorporate it. Now I'm going to actually go through each of the exercises. Now, the first exercise that he lists is the wide grip pull-up as shown in the image. It's going to train the lats and upper back muscles. I'm pretty sure most of us know how to do a wide grip pull-up. But basically you want to start with a pronated, wider than shoulder grip, and you basically pull yourself up. Now, Marvin does suggest, like many silver era bodybuilders back in the day, to pull up touching the back of your neck to the bar. So you want to pull up carefully. So just the back of your neck to the bar. I know a lot of people are going to be screaming, oh, but what about your rotator cuffs? It's going to screw up your shoulders. Well, understand as well that back then, a lot of these guys did Olympic weightlifting. They were athletes. They were gymnasts as well. And so these guys had incredible range of motion and very strong joints. It's up to you whether you want to do it with the back, touch the back of your neck to the bar, but that's the recommendation. I'm only sharing Marvin's recommendations. Of course, once you pull up, then you lower and repeat. And this is an excellent exercise to warm up with. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's very, very tempting to do set after set of pull-ups, but the whole idea is to use the wide grip pull-up as a warm-up, because then you're going to be doing some very difficult, I would say, variations, which now Marvin explains in this article. As I mentioned before, if your body weight becomes too easy and you're performing, for example, 8 to 12 reps fairly easily, then you want to start adding resistance in the form of a plate using a dip belt or the iron boot if you've got one at home. Again, in time, once you, for example, can perform the recommended reps and sets for each of the other exercise, you may start adding more sets, especially to the wide grip pull-up. Now, after performing one warm-up set of the wide grip pull-up, you ideally want to be performing the very wide grip pull-up for one set of 10 to 12 reps. Now, notice the equipment back here. I really love silver and golden era equipment. You're not going to find this kind of stuff nowadays. He actually uses kettlebell handles on a chin-up, which in Marvin's opinion really allows you to spread the scapula apart. It really just gives a different feeling to this kind of very wide pull-up, to this very wide grip pull-up. Ideally as well, he mentions if the ends of the bar are slightly bent, it's even better. Anyway, this exercise is going to work the high lat and scapular muscles. It's a short range of motion exercise because you have your arms so wide out, and therefore it ends up kind of shrugging the scapula up and down as you perform the motion. And therefore, again, these are Marvin Eder's words, it's supposed to help spread your scapula apart. Whether he's right or not, don't argue with me. These are Marvin Eder's words. Hard to argue with a man that had developed this fantastic back naturally back in the silver era. Therefore, he believes that by spreading the scapula apart using this very wide grip pull-up, it's going to widen your frame. His own words again. Ideally, as I mentioned earlier, you can use an old school wide grip bar with handles. Basically, these are kind of old kettlebell handles. If your gym has them, you're lucky. Otherwise, use a bar that's going to allow you to perform a very wide grip using the pull-up. So again, one set of 10 to 12 repetitions. Now, the next exercise is also going to be emphasizing scapular work. You can probably now start seeing what the whole topic of this program really is, of this routine. It's not just to develop very wide lats, it's actually to make you wider, according to Marvin Eder, because there's a lot of scapular work in this particular program, which is why you're only doing one set of these exercises. They're very, very taxing on the shoulder girdle. Again, this is scapular work. It's also going to work your forearms and shoulders. And you can see that if you are actually holding two parallel vertical bars, there's not going to be much range of motion. It's all going to be your scapula and your very high upper back muscles doing all the work. It's going to be very, very taxing. It's a very intense exercise. Again, Marvin actually states that this kind of exercise helps to spread your scapula apart, widening your frame. And he believes that it actually can help you widen your frame 1 inch or so in time, right? Again, these guys, they had their ways of training. Steve Reeves used to do scapular work. Reg Park, Marvin Eder, all the greats used to do it. Hard to argue with these guys. Anyway, you're supposed to perform as many reps as possible. It is very hard. You only do one set of this particular exercise. Now, following the vertical bar pull-up, the next exercise is the alternating concentration halfway pull-up. Sounds complicated, but it's not. This was an actual favorite of Reg Park, according to Marvin Eder, where you basically pull yourself up halfway up as you normally would a pull-up. So you basically grab the bar using a pronated grip, just as if you're going to do a normal pull-up. You pull yourself up halfway, but at the halfway point, now you pull hard with the right arm only going towards the right side of the bar. Then you lower and repeat on the left side. So this time you would go halfway up, but as you come up, you start now pulling hard with the left arm, and so on. Only perform up to 6 reps for each side. It's pretty tough, Only 1 set. Now the last exercise is definitely a challenge. It's the 1M chin up. You use, this is a great idea by the way from Marvin Eder. You want to use a horizontal bar and a vertical bar as shown in the photo here. You basically want to pull yourself up with one arm, but assisting yourself with the other arm on the vertical bar. Basically, the other hand on the vertical bar is going to help you get up with that one arm chin up. In time, you will be able to perform it with no assistance at all. Again, perform 5 to 6 chin ups per arm as a maximum in 1 set for each arm. Now the last exercise is just the lat stretch on the vertical bar, but I really like this form of lat stretch. Marvin Eder recommends that you grab the vertical bar with both arms, with both hands, and you want to brace your feet on the ground as shown. I mean, you don't have to be where you're just floating off the floor as Marvin is here, but at least you want to develop a pretty good stretch in your back before you do the rotations. That's right. You can see the little arrows in this image here. It's actually indicating that once you've braced yourself and you're pulling pretty hard with your hands, you're going to round your back and pull and then drop into the stretch on one side, rotating your trunk, your upper body that is, from side to side. So you really drop the right side and twist, and then you turn and drop your left side and twist. And God, the pull is tremendous. Again, it's going to help mobilize the scapula. It's going to help release the fascia of all the muscles you've trained in the upper back. It's a great stretch after all that hard work on the chin up. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the Silver Era techniques, I've got several books online as shown here from Steve Reeves, Reg Park, and some classic techniques from the Silver Era, all available on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. Now, I keep getting asked about all the books that I'm selling, especially the ones from Reg Park and Steve Reeves. I have to admit that the ones from Steve Reeves tend to be more focused on specialization of certain body parts, just like some of the Reg Park books that I sell. But there are some books, there is one particular book from Steve Reeves and one from Reg Park that focus on ribcage development. So these are very good routines, and the Silver Era Techniques book that I'm showing here basically contains the 20 rep squat method as well as the 20 rep deadlift method and many other awesome techniques, all from the Silver Era that these guys used. Highly recommended. Check it out on my website, once again, www.goldenerabookworm.com. So I do hope you have enjoyed watching this video on chin-up variations. This chin-up variation program was written by Barton Horvath, for your own information, back in 1951 after watching the marvelous Marvin Eder train endlessly on the chin-up bar. I mean, this guy held the world record for dips and chin-ups, so it was no wonder that he was ridiculously strong and muscular as he was. If you try these exercises out, let me know how you go. Anyway, if you've enjoyed watching this video, then please like, share, and subscribe. To support the channel, please donate via PayPal, become a patron, visit my website for out-of-print books and courses on old school bodybuilding, and get in touch via email if you wish to collaborate or pass on your bodybuilding relics. That's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. To take full advantage of my collaboration with Old School Labs, please visit their website and choose from their marvelous range of supplements using my code BOOKWORM12. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.